Question: how long could you work the same job with no promotion and no salary raise? Right? Could you do it for 10 years? Could you do it for 20? What about 30, 40? Like, what's the limit? I think for most people, the limit would be like 2 years, right? Like 2 or 5 years. If I'm not getting that raise, I'm finding something else. Because there's not enough time in this world to just spend on a dead-end job where there's no room for growth or progress. But oftentimes when it comes to like religion, we find ourselves like stuck. That there's people who memorize like 10, 15 surahs when they were 6 years old or 8 years old and have not made any progress in that front for the past 40 years. Right? And there's people who prayed a certain amount of rak'ah when they were 10 and they still pray the same amount of rak'ah. Like, there has been no spiritual growth whatsoever, no emphasis in that area. That is just kind of like, oh, I'll save it for when I'm old. And so if Shaitan has not gotten a person to busy themselves with sins, at the very least he wants to busy them with wastefulness, with idleness, right? Like, he wants people to go out and have conversations that have no benefit. Have you ever been in those? Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes past, you talk to a person, and at the end of it, it's like, dude, if I never had that conversation, I actually would have been better off because I would have 30 minutes, right? Because there was nothing beneficial, right? Nothing harmful, but also nothing beneficial. And so we live in an era where we disrespect our time a lot, like a lot. I mean, if we told the Sahaba that there would come a generation of Muslims that never have to go to the wells and never have to worry about the hot air and never have to even make a fire in their life, right? Like, all the food is warmed within minutes for them. And they have so much time and so much facility in life, they would think that these people should be the greatest scholars on the face of the earth in history. Because, oh my God, you have so much facility. All you should be doing is studying the deen and practicing and getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But instead what we do is we find a sense of sweetness in nothingness. When we go and we have a 5-hour binge on Instagram or on Netflix, we find that to be like the most pleasurable thing in the world. And this is from Shaitan. He just wants us to be busy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the attributes of the believers, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, those people who turn away from idleness. So whenever we engage in an activity, we have to understand, is this thing actually distracting me from the progress that Allah wants me to make in the deen? Are these conversations, are these activities, are these things that will ultimately benefit me? Or are these things that have no benefit in me?